Hello, everyone, and welcome back again to another episode. Today, after talking about my first period, we're gonna be talking about my first boyfriend. I'm even shy to talk about it. I don't know about you, but these were not topics that we talked about. Okay? Hi, I'm Lydia. On this channel, I share real life stories and some practical tools for navigating life's transitions because change is inevitable, and just so that none of us have to feel alone while we grow. Oh, about my first boyfriend. Can I just say it out loud that it was almost like you were never allowed to have a boyfriend, and any conversations around those were, if you have a boyfriend, you will get pregnant. Or if you were seen with a boy, you will get pregnant. It's just amazing to see, particularly because now I live in a different country from where I was raised, and how every day I see parents with their teenage kids and their teenage kids' boyfriends, girlfriends. And I would tell you, to date, I'm still like, is this happening? Because there was no way you would come home with a boy or a guy and say, this is my girlfriend or this is my boyfriend. Nope. In fact, we kids internalize it so much so that associating with the opposite sex was something for you to be ashamed about. That if someone said that someone was your boyfriend, kids will be laughing at you, or you will literally be crying, and they'll be like, so and so is so and so's boyfriend, and you will cry because, what do you mean? That's not something you're supposed to do. Or maybe you're afraid, what if my parents found out? What if? Oh, long story. But I can just say a lot of culture shocks where I am. But yeah, it is what it is, and probably I have to prepare because now I have a 13 and 12-year-old, and maybe, who knows, soon there might be people I'm introduced to. I don't know, I don't even want to think about it. Well, back to my story. I don't think my first boyfriend was really about love, and I think I was probably 17 or 18. And I really don't think we even called it that way. I strongly believe it was about wanting to feel chosen. Because at that age, I don't think you know the difference, you know? And being so afraid of, like, what is gonna happen? What would happen if someone finds out? Or who is this person? All I remember well is we used to write letters, and that was my superpower. I had a way of expressing things, and I remember even writing letters on behalf of some of my friends. I don't know what you guys did. For us, we would write this, bombasticate this, oh my god, and we would spray it. We had some powder that we used to use on our faces, and we had particular writing pads that were pink, and high school. And we would, like, man, it's nostalgic just remembering what all that process was, and sending out those letters and clipping. There were newspaper clippings because every Sunday, I believe, there was those songs, popular songs that the lyrics would be put on the national newspaper. And so you would clip that and put it in the newspaper and say, I dedicate this song to you. I don't know if you did that. If you did, those were the days. I loved those days. So I really remember overthinking everything. What I wore, what I said, if he liked it. it felt like my worth depended on someone else's attention, you know? And sometimes I wish I could just go back and hug that younger version of me, because she wasn't dramatic. She wasn't, I don't know if she knew who she was. She was just learning. But I also learned something important later, that attention is not love. And anxiety is not love. And losing yourself is not love. And that real love actually feels safe. You know? It was like, if this person didn't like me, my world would fall apart. If this person didn't respond to my letter in the number of days that I felt reasonable because my other friends got their letters back, somehow the anxiety just kicked in. And I remember being so self-conscious about my body, and a lot of stuff. I don't know what your experience was, but it was just, it felt nice to be chosen, but it felt anxious to want to fit into someone else's. Not that it was a bad guy. He was actually a very cool guy and never had any demands. If anything, we were both very afraid of whatever, because if anything happened, in fact, even if you move close to each other, there you go, you're pregnant, even though you don't understand what pregnancy is. All you know is your life is gonna be ruined. Anyway, something for us to learn. If you have teenagers, please talk to them about this stuff. Again, not lectures, conversations. Help them understand who they are, what might happen. Not that you're preempting that they're gonna want to have a boyfriend or whatever it is, but just to prepare. That's a big life transition right there. And they learn self-awareness. They learn self-acceptance. They learn what is okay and what is not okay. They learn boundaries. They learn how to say no. I don't remember anyone teaching me how to say no. Yet just this morning, I had a conversation with my 7-year-old, talking about some things they learned at school. So me just reinforcing, please say no. No, that was not firm enough. Say it again. You know? So I don't remember having those conversations, but it will be very helpful for our children to understand that you don't have to shrink to be loved. You don't have to perform to be chosen. Because I assure you, confidence starts at home. Confidence starts at home. If they can be confident to tell you anything, if they can be confident that, you know, mom, dad is going to share with me this, or I'm going to learn this, where do we expect them to get that confidence, right? Most of life is just learning how to love ourselves first, and then letting others meet us there. Because the version that you send out, the version of your children that you send out, is the version that the world meets, is a version that other people meet. That if we are not intentional about having them learn who they are, accept who they are, love themselves without any external validation, then I think we will have done our part. That marks the end of our story today. I would love to hear a little bit about your first boyfriend, first girlfriend, however that went. If maybe your family was different from mine and you had this conversation, or you just like, yeah, it happened and that is how it is. If this story resonated, subscribe and come back tomorrow. I'm telling this journey in order, one chapter at a time. And the next piece might be the one you just need most. See you in the next one.